All right, everyone, we're hoping that we're going to get some clarification over the next few days, I would imagine, that the 25% stake in United of Sir Jim Ratcliffe is going to be confirmed, because we were told it was going to be, late January, early February. Don't want to get caught up in particulars, but I think early February is running into mid-February, so hopefully that'll be ratified soon. It's a done deal. I've no doubt that it's going to happen. You know, he's been at Old Trafford a couple of times. He was obviously at the memorial service for Munich on Tuesday. I think it was their call to bring Barada in, so I'm sure it'll happen. We're just awaiting that. And then I'm hoping then that a director of football, sporting director, one or the other or both, will be announced soon after that. And in a week when a lot of the talk's been about the stadium, I think then hopefully the structure at the top of the club will start to get to work in looking at the squad and looking at what needs to be done, because it's a massive job. We're going to look a bit more into detail at that today. We've won 2 games in a row, which we haven't done since November, I think it was. And that's great, of course. But what you get from that is just huge revisionism from fans based on a short-term peak in form, when in reality there's an awful lot that needs to be done. I thought we played well against Newport. I didn't see all of it, but I thought we played well against Wolves. And then obviously there was a big drama against Wolves because we let them back in it, but we still probably deserved to win that game and played some decent football, particularly in the first hour of the game. And then against West Ham, we don't get many standard 3-0 home wins, and West Ham are a decent team, so obviously that's a great result. And I think what it's highlighted to me is the importance of 2 sets of threes in our team. This huge importance of Martinez, Varane and Casemiro. It's like a little triangle, really. It's huge. That it brings so much composure and balance and aggression, as well as composure. Might seem a bit contradictory, but hopefully you'll know what I mean by that. The team just looks so much stronger with them in it, and Martinez being out is a massive loss. One of my favourite players in this team. And by all accounts, we're thinking of getting rid of 2 of those players, Varane and Casemiro. I mentioned a few videos ago, I understand trying to reduce wages, but I wouldn't just get rid of players just because of the wage they're on. You have to look at the other factors. And those boys make a massive difference to the team. Their influence is massive, I think. They're elite players, and we haven't got many of them. So I certainly won't be looking at offloading Varane and Casemiro, especially when you see the difference they make alongside Martinez being there as well. And then the other 3 is not necessarily about the 3 of them being connected in terms of positions, but it's just the 3, the things they've got in common, I suppose, is Garnacho, Rasmus and Mainoo, in that there's 3 young lads there that just bring a bit of hope and a bit of spirit and a bit of rawness to the team. 3 lads that I think are 21 and under, huge potential, great futures ahead of them, hopefully. And all 3 of them seem to play with a smile on their face, enjoy their football. They're just not shackled by any history of failure, because they're just young kids who are loving being a United player. It's great to see it. We've always loved that at United, and the week of the anniversary of Munich, it's quite fitting to sort of talk about it. I think that we've got some young lads there that could really have bright futures at the club. So there's those 2 sets of 3. Around that, then, you've got a lot of work to do. And I prepared to do this ages ago, but for some reason never got around to doing a video on it. I want to look at each member of our squad, and I'm going to put them each into a category of sell, squad player or crucial. A while ago I did a video about what impact Sir Jim Ratcliffe could have with 25%, and I mentioned that there was a short term, it was in 3 stages. Short term was 1 to 3 years, where you're basically trying to repair damage and establish something. 3 to 6 years is when you hope to get some kind of consistency and identity, a definable way of playing football, and that hopefully we're consistently finishing within the top 3 or 4 every season. And that that's not by chance, that's because we're a very solid, good team. And then the bit that I struggle to see happening is the 7 to 10 year bit where we start to really season after season compete for titles and be a juggernaut again. I don't think the money's there to do that, but that's that third last bit. When I look at the squad now, and I'm going to do the sell squad or crucial, I'm probably being a bit hard in that I'm judging it on a team that I want to finish in the top 4 or 3 every season. So I'm probably skipping a section of that, of those stages, but nonetheless, that's probably just the way I am. So I'll go through the players and then say sell squad or crucial. I'm not going to particularly explain my reasons for it unless I feel the need to. Based on what I've seen of him, Onana, I'd have to sell him. Altay, the sub goalkeeper, I'd keep as a squad player. Wan-Bissaka, I'd keep as a squad player. Dalot, sell. Maguire, sell. Lindelof, sell. Martinez, crucial. Varane, a senior squad player who oversees hopefully the development of a real beast of a centre back. Last year I'd sell. Shaw, crucial. McTominay, sell. Casemiro, in a similar way to Varane, senior squad player, probably get a lot of minutes, but again overseeing another player who can ultimately replace him. Eriksen, sell. Mount, sell. Bruno, crucial, captain. Kobe, of course, crucial, shouldn't have to be, but is. So I would absolutely at the moment, unless we do a lot of business, he would have to be in the crucial category. Rashford, sell. Sancho, sell. Garnacho, crucial. Like Mainu, probably shouldn't have to be, but he is. Anthony, squad player. Ahmad, squad player. Palestri, squad player. Hannibal, squad player. Martial, sell. Rasmus, squad player. Because I think we need a tier 1 striker, and then Rasmus would play again quite a lot of football, hopefully, but he can learn under an experienced player. He's not that pressure on him that's there now. So by my reckoning, that would mean we need to sell 11 of our players. Squad players, we'd have 9, including the goalkeeper. And crucial players, we'd have 5, which means we'd have 14 players. Which means we probably need to sign about 6 and then promote some young players in. That's not going to happen, what I just said there. But that's what I'd do. I'd be interested to know your thoughts. Unfortunately, I suspect 2 of the people I'd keep as squad / crucial players, really, Varane and Casemiro, I think they'll probably go, unfortunately. I've given my reasons as to why I wouldn't let them go earlier in the video. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who I certainly would keep ahead of Dalot, he was another one that I've got in the list as a squad player. I think he'll go. So I'm under no illusions what I've said here will happen. But that's what I do moving forward. It needs completely gutting, and then building around those 2 triangles, as I said, Varane, Martinez, and Casemiro. We haven't got the money to go and buy a Jude Bellingham or not that we buy Declan Rice from Arsenal, but a Declan Rice or someone who's going to cost 100 million quid. So realistically, as I mentioned in the previous video, we're looking at being a bit of a Brighton, where we're looking at buying players who previously probably would have gone to Brighton, and then we try and buy them for a lot of money. We've got to get in there and get those players, and they develop at United. And for that to happen, you've got to have, for me, a Casemiro and a Varane around to help them to do that. So whilst I've put Casemiro and Varane as squad players, I don't mean squad players in the sense of like they're not going to play that much. I mean they're going to be senior squad players who would oversee the development of younger players that we're going to have to buy because we haven't got loads of money. You hear loads of stuff in the press, of course, about potentially, what was it, that they're going to go for players with 1 year left on their contract this summer, and people are talking about Kimmich. Kimmich's quality. Like, I'd love him at United, but whether we'd get him or not, I don't know. I'd always question why a player is in the last year of their contract if they're so good. And then with United, in our history of buying players who haven't got a great attitude, you'd always have to look at what's their conduct like, how are they seen within their club, do they have a bad injury record, are they getting older, are they not worth their wages, does that team not fancy them anymore? Because not many top draw players are allowed to go into the last year of their contract at well-run clubs. At United, it's different. So when I say build around Varane and Casemiro, I mean that you'd bring younger players in and then they could oversee it. With the young three that I spoke about earlier on, Rasmus, Mainu and Garnacho, you build around them because they've got great qualities. Are they going to be that ruthless in one summer? Highly unlikely. And don't forget, I said that the stage one, the repair of the damage might take 3 years. So it might take them 3 years to get rid of those 11 players, or even 11 players full stop. But maybe I'm being idealistic. I know that's probably not feasible, but I just do it in one foul swoop. Just get rid of them. And clear the decks, because this whole thing is tipping upside down, and 2 wins in a row don't change that. I never really get into tactical stuff because I don't really particularly see it as being a massive strength of mine, but at the weekend, with Martinez being out, I'd play Shaw as left-sided centre-back. At the back end of last season, when Martinez was injured, I thought we did really well with Shaw and Lindelof as centre-backs, because Shaw gives you that balance of being a left-footed left-sided centre-back. He's similar height to Martinez. Probably don't have to particularly change the way we play as much if you put Shaw in there, whereas if you put Maguire in there or Lindelof, you have to really change the way you play. I know it would affect the left-back position because obviously Shaw is good at left-back. I think he brings probably the best out in Rashford to some degree as well. And there's maybe no coincidence that Rashford dipped a bit towards the back end of last season when Shaw wasn't playing left-back, he's playing centre-back, but I see that as being perhaps a little bit of an excuse for Rashford. But I take what you lose on the left-back position to have that solidity in the centre-back role, because we've shipped too many goals this season. So yeah, I'd put him there as left-sided centre-back, and maybe have Dalot left-back and Wan-Bissaka as the right-back. It's going to be interesting. Forest got through on penalties last night, which means we've got them in the FA Cup. It's not for a bit yet, that. So we've got quite a few league games in between. Villa coming up at the weekend, which is always a brilliant away game for Reds. We always obviously have a huge atmosphere there, which is fantastic. Some great days at Villa Park that I've had in down the years. But it's a tough game. Be interesting to see how we do. And yeah, there's my thoughts on who we're to sell, keep in the squad, and have as crucial players. Get involved. Glazers out.